Hey guys, so yesterday I went into a bit of a deep dive of 5 of these new baked beans fork miners, and we looked at them all, and now they've all launched, right? 2 of them had already been launched and 3 of them hadn't launched yet. And I thought now that they launched, it's a great time to get into the BSC scan, because they're all in the Binance Smart Chain, right? Go into the blockchain and find out just how these kind of miners launch, and if they are the right choice for anyone really to go into. And if you were to choose one, which one would you choose? I'm going to tell you which one in the end I decided to go for, because I do like miners. They're passive income. They're a bit Ponzi-ish, but we know this. We do know this. If you don't know this, you're lying to yourself. So I'm going to go through my thought process here, right? We're first going to talk about how they work. Then we're going to deep dive into the idea of bots and how they affect the launch of these miners. We're going to have a look at the fees incurred by the miners, not just the fees going to the developer, but also the fees that certain, that influencers or referral guys get too. Then I'm going to give you my choice of which one I chose and why I chose it. And, this is all pretty impartial. This is crypto. It's DGen, it's Cowboy Town. This stuff happens every day. But just because these ones launched right now, it just gives me a bit of insight so that I can look into it without having to go back too far in time in BSC scan to find the right information. So, roll it.
That's right. Got that cryptocurrency.
Tell me how you do it. She won't tell anyone. She said to feel better if you only just tell her. Take the life for life will happen.
All right, so for how these miners work, first of all, if it's your first ever time coming across a miner, okay, we're going to come to the most famous one, baked beans, just to show you exactly how this works, right? So this is the big hot one at the moment. If we do come to the site I showed you yesterday, sorry, I didn't show you the address. It's called cryptominer.finance is the website. You can find, baked beans here. It's been running for 164 days. I did go into Binance Scan, and I tried to take it from 164 days ago to find the first ever transactions on it, but for some reason it's not working. I can only go back 2,000 on this, and if I do try get the CSV export, it doesn't give me the starting date, annoyingly. So it's going to take too long to figure it out. So I thought, fuck it, Because even 2,000 transactions on this only goes back one day. This is a very, very busy contract. So what happens is you will take your capital, for this one is BNB token, we'll put it into the mining contract. How this works is that when one is born, right, for example, yesterday we'll take Grinch, right, this was born yesterday. We're actually going to go into the BSC scan on this because all the first transactions are still available in BSC scan to look at, so it's very interesting for me. So the first ever contribution into this miner when it first launched, when the ticker came over and the first ever wallet that was able to seed it would have gotten a huge advantage over anyone else who was in this. And the second, the third, the fourth, depending on how much BNB they put in, they would also get great advantages from this contract. Now you can see the contract has exploded up to $1.6 million at the moment with 4,000 BNB in it. I mean, it's huge, but compared to baked beans, which is 34,000 BNB, is pretty good, especially for one day with 4,000 in there. But it's also quite shocking because it's grown so fast that I'm not sure if it's going to continue to grow or will it now just drain very quickly. We'll see. The time will tell, right? I did put in about half a BNB into this. As you can see, I've got $85 to claim or compound or whatever, right? I've got one green egg. Great. I got into this much later. I missed the start because it launched very late and I just threw in. I'm going to tell you a little bit secret about miners in a while though, that I've already ROI'd on this massively, and I'll tell you why near the end of the video. This is also something about baked bean forks, which I've discovered because I guess maybe I'm a bit smart, or maybe everyone knows this, they just don't talk about it, but it's pretty scandalous indeed. Anyway, first couple wallets who got this really got a greater advantage on this. They get a huge, if you just see this as a pie, it's the easiest way to think about it, right? There's a huge pie. Who gets the continuous 8%, right? The daily earnings of 8%, or the amount of contracted amount of BNB that's coming out this contract every block, right? Who gets that? Well, the earlier you get into the contract in the first beginning stages, that means that you got a higher percentage of the pie. Now, for something like baked beans that's been running for 180 days, it really doesn't matter anymore who got in first. They've probably already ROI'd by claiming, but then every time they claim, their percentage of the pie gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Until eventually, later on, guys who either compound or continue to invest will be able to take some of that pie from these early investors who've already made huge returns on their investments. Because baked beans continues to get more capital into it, that's why these early investors have probably already possibly been cut out, or they're still making really great returns, but nothing like they were in the first initial start, right? They'll have new whales which have entered, essentially taking up a bigger slice of the pie. But for something that's just begun, it will be right now the bots and the huge investment from the beginning, which will have the monopoly on the contract at the moment, is how I see it. So that's how they work. So we're going to be looking at 3 today, actually. We're looking, at Grinch. We're also looking at the BUSD crops farmer, because this one, again, launched yesterday. Also had a pretty good launch. It's managed to get $460,000 in here in the first day. I mean, Grinch is a much simpler contract. It is what it is. That's the page. So, and they do have at the bottom right, this is here, you may lose all your money, right? They're very apparent about this. So Grinch did get $1.6 million. BUSD crops farmer got less, which is $460,000, which is still quite a lot, but also I prefer one that gets less, right? That does get less. We'll also have a look at the Doge beans, which we did have a check on, which really underperformed and only got 32 BNB. Poor guy, only 58 users. But something very cool about this miner that did happen, and it's related to the research that we're doing, right? Back to BUSD Crops Farmer, this one has a lot of stops, checks, and challenges on it, right? That we're going to go into later on as well. Like this 12-hour compound timer, 2.5% daily hire bonus, 4-hour withdrawal cooldown, 48-hour rewards accumulation cutoff, 5 times mandatory compound feature. What does all this mean? Because Grinch doesn't have any of this. It is money in, then get in as early with as much as you want, and then claim or compound and try win the game is the way that this one works. But the plot thickens. So this is BSE scan. I've kind of gone back to the first point where the contract actually was engaged with, because before this point, right, see here we have page 86 of 242 transactions so far in the first day that this is around. And I thought, whoa, that's a lot of transactions. But beyond this page, right, it is just this, right? Failed transactions to buy eggs. Yeah, we can see here. So we come back to page 89 here. These are all failed transactions by a couple wallets actually. So this one's completely all failed, right? So what we can do is we can take some of the wallets from this one, right? So how many times has this one used this page? Control F, once, twice, 3, 4, 5, right? So we check another one. This is 637, copy that, F, right here, right? Bot. These are bots, right? This one's trying to buy for 3 BNB. This one's trying to buy for 9 BNB. Probably this bot's trying to buy for 3.3 BNB. This one, only one on this page for 3.3 BNB. But probably we can find them. Yeah, there he is there. So this might be a bot. This might just be someone that's really eager to get in and he's just continually trying to do it. But definitely the other one, yeah, with the 9 BNB, sure is a bot because he's doing it every single second. Look at that, it's persistent and it goes back for about 20 minutes before the launch. So they've just got this eating the transaction fee because they don't care, because they're going to make insane money if they are successful in their buy. So here, 9 BNB, failed. Finally, we get seed market, right? This would be, I guess, where the contract is open for investment, and our guy with 9 BNB grabs it, right? First guy coming in is the 3 BNB guy. Copy him, right? That's that bot from before here. Yeah, he was trying here. So he got in the first buy. So that's this bot. This bot got the first purchase of the contract, which means that he's taken up a huge amount of the pie. Then the next point would be this bot here, then this bot here, then here, coming all the way through. And I guess this one here, 20 BNB buy, we can try that. Did not get, so that was a human being. That's nice, not a bot. So finally, the bots got in. Now, you could think that I'm saying something bad about the Grinch contract here, but I'm not, because that's just the way that these miners launch. This is the way that most miners launch. The problem would be that, there's not any stops or checks on this on the contract to try and stop anyone getting in early that is going to take advantage by just being a bot, right? But that's the way it is. This is exactly what it says. Grinch Bunch is a high-risk ROI DApp. As such, only invest what you're willing to lose, as you may lose it all. That's exactly what it says, okay? And it was launched the same way that Baked Beans was launched. The problem being that just Baked Beans wasn't as famous. It wasn't in a hype time when Baked Beans was launched and Grinch was launched. So if you do want to play this DApp, do be aware that that is what's happening right now with the control of the payment coming out, okay? That a lot of people will be getting way more of a balance than you are for now. But over the weeks and months that this platform is running, if it continues to grow, then that will be completely forgotten about it. That's how these miners work, right? Now we know, okay? And yeah, so then pretty much from this point, the buying of the eggs just becomes a natural occurrence. And a lot of the wallet addresses are not the same wallet address. It's just completely natural purchasing from investors, right? Now that's about the extent of my knowledge of blockchain in terms of finding these bots, right? So if I come back to like one of them, yeah, this one, right? This one that was trying. Let's get the big boy. Where's the 9BNB guy? Yeah, 9BNB guy here, right? How did it work for him? He got in the 1, 2, 3, fourth call was 9BNB boy. So in terms of my extent, like if you want to get further into this, if you are interested in how bots work and things, then you could come to this address here and you can see what's going on in his wallet. In terms of like my extent of the knowledge of reading this kind of gets lost here, because now from here it's very strange because it's continually buying eggs. I don't know why. His transaction just disappears, you know, right? That 9BNB buy, we come to the transaction, it says, you know, you can see it here, value of 9BNB, $3,000, right? Then we come to brings me to his wallet, eggs of like 0.0001 BNB. And I don't know why it's doing that, but it's continuing to do that. It's very strange, which is called Lucky Cat. So the Lucky Cat would be another miner, right? So this bot's now doing it there. Maybe these are failed transactions. He's trying to get into Lucky Cat, something like that. But they're continuing like mad. Yeah, just going at it. 8 hours. So I don't know, this could be a bot that's set up to get into other miners now as well. And then they stop there. This is the cancel here. So tried, canceled, and finally got in and started buying 0.0001 BNBs on Lucky Cat. So this definitely is a bot doing transactions on that, whatever Lucky Cat is. These will be the 9 BNB purchases trying to get into the Grinch. So like these bots, man, they really piss me off because this is exactly what happened to the piggy bank, where one of these bots managed to get through and sell everything. And that's the reason that the piggy bank and the animal farm is paused right now, because it managed to get through. And that, you know, it's really, really annoying. So this, I guess, is the transaction. So the thing about this wallet is that since it's purchased the eggs, it hasn't started to sell anything yet. Just got its purchase and then it fell out. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of my skill. So if anyone else does have any skill in these, it's something that, you know, I'm quite interested in finding out more about. So of course, like I say, if this miner does come out of the other end and the balance continues to grow to $1 million, $3 million, $5 million in the Grinch bucks, then this will not be like anything to worry about at all, because it will continue growing, right? It's the way I see Grinch bucks. So then how do some other contracts try to fight against this whole bot thing? Because so the BSD crops farmer that launched yesterday, this around about the same time. But if we come to the contract, we're going to find some similar issues here. So we come to all time. It's 2,791. We go to last for this one as well, and you'll see what's going on here. Oh, somebody's trying to grab it, right? Someone's trying to buy eggs here too. And if you go through any miner's history, you're going to find this exact same pattern, right? There, finally initialize, buy eggs is not the first bot, I don't think. Let's see, OX9. No, not the first buy is not a bot, that's good. But it is the same wallet, yeah? You see 1, 2, 3, which could be the dev, because the dev of this did say that he was trying to fill it up with as much of like starting it with himself also funding it so that they could just compound it. So let's find out, like, so these bots, this one here, okay, did he get in? Didn't get in here, but then we come to the next page. Once the contract's rolling, he did get here, or did he? Failed. Failed. Looks like this one was probably blacklisted actually, because he didn't get in. Interesting, didn't get in. So trying to get in, looks like they managed to maybe wipe him out. Pretty fascinating, I think. So that bot didn't get in. Nice. That was one bot obliterated out of the contract. So this would be called anti-botting, right? Trying to knock the bots out. As far as I understand, of course, if I'm talking at my arse here, please educate me on this even more. But I don't have the time to go through all of these past bots and then see if they did manage to slip through or not. But you'll see, like, I would expect possibly some would. He got his buy, right? So for example, this bot was trying time and time again. He seemed to have slipped through the gap, because not everyone's going to get through. And what did he get? Yeah, he went in with $600 was this one, which could be a person, could be a bot. I don't know. If you want to try him, then you could come here. Looks pretty botty to me. He bought eggs, trying to try. Also, this bot also trying to buy Grinch bucks, big Grinch, eggs. Yeah, this is definitely a bot going around both of them, right? So then coming to look at the BUSD crops farmer, how does it stop these bot attacks? Because of course, trying to stop all bots is practically impossible. It is practically impossible. So what BUSD crops farmer has done is it's taken a couple precautions. So I'm in this one, right? I put in $500 into this. And as you can see, I have 50 crops, right? So far. Now I could harvest all that right now, like a bot probably could if a bot did get in this contract. Or at least anyone who got in extremely early with a huge amount of capital, which is going to eat this up, right? If they want to harvest right now, they can't. If they do, they're going to take a 60% tax cut, like off whatever. So 60% of 50, right, would be what if I chose to do that. Or I can choose then, of course I'm not going to do that. It's a huge cut, right? So then I will hire more farmers. Here I'll hire more farmers, and actually I'll get a 2.5% bonus on my compound rate for that one time. So by hiring more farmers with my 50 crops, I'm actually going to be getting like 2.5% more BUSD buying power for compounding back into this contract, getting me more of my farmers. So that's one way that they're stopping bots from doing that, right? By 60% taxing that, and then next time I compound again, I'll get 5 farmers, 5%, a 5% bonus on my farmers. This 60% tax, let's find out if it stays or if it goes. So a couple things here. They have a cutoff time. That's the first one. So if I decided just to leave this, so say I did get the first buy there as a bot, and I decided to leave this growing forevermore for a week or a month, right? And this would just get to a crazy amount of capital, then I could just press harvest, right? Even with the 60% tax, I'm going to empty a huge amount of this BUSD that's locked in the contract. But because there's a 2-day basket fill, right? Once your bag is full, it will stop filling until you've taken some action in the game. So that's one way that they stop these bots or any kind of bad player or bad egg in the contract, by just having that. Then they also have a withdrawal cooldown, as the amount of time of which one has to wait before they can make another withdrawal. This also prevents the contract balance from decreasing too fast. So you can't just withdraw. You have to wait for the cooldown to finish. If the team decides it's necessary to protect the contract balance, the time period can be adjusted for the withdrawal cooldowns. The compound count is the number of times the user has compounded. There, you just saw me compound once, right? By default, the required compound count by the platform is 5, meaning the user will have to compound 5 times, compound once every 12 hours, before they can withdraw without the feedback tax of 60%. So how is a bot going to be able to compound 5 times and then understand that you can then withdraw this for without the 60% tax? I don't think it can. This would be a very advanced bot. I don't think they exist at the moment. I mean, someone could program it now to go into this contract, but then they would not get the advantage of being the first mover, right? So it means for me, I've compounded once. Now I need to compound 4 more times. Then I can harvest my crops without that 60% tax. What it's doing is it's forcing this idea that's being brought around by the miners that you're supposed to compound for 5 days and withdraw for 2 days, or compound for 6 days and withdraw for 1 day. This is actually forcing you to do it, which should, in essence, mean that this miner is going to have an extremely long life, not financial advice. To reward you while you compound, there's a bonus when you rehire, when you compound. You get a 2.5% extra every 12 hours that you compound without withdrawing. 25% max after 5 days. So after 5 days of compounding, you're getting yourself 25% more BUSD put into the contract. Then finally you can build that up for the 24 hours or 48 hours, I can't remember, of time that it allows you to build it up. Then you can withdraw that, meaning that if everyone plays this game, this contract will last for an extremely long time, will all ROI quite quickly. And together, the most important thing, right? Gameplay. For the choosers who choose not to play the game and only sell, there will be a 60% tax on those sells that will stay in the contract. So 60% going back to the contract. If the player makes 2 or more consecutive sells, this tax will be applied. The only way for the user not to pay the 60% tax is to compound 5 times before making another withdrawal. Genius. Very nice work there. So, of course, the best strategy is to rehire a compound for 6 days and harvest for 1 day a week. This will increase the user investment at the same time increasing the daily yield earnings. This strategy has already been tried and tested by several projects and has proven efficient for both short and long-term play. So this miner, I think, is going to be well above $1 million miner in TVL. I think it can even hit up to 2 just because of this here. This great amount of rules which are really protecting it, not just from being botted at the start, which I don't know if it was or not, but if it was, then they're not going to be able to get through this, and keeping everyone compounding for a long amount of time. Instead of the balance mashing up to like 1 gazillion in the first day and then just draining forevermore, it's actually had a pretty humble $460,000 and letting it with 1,666 players, allowing it to have sustained growth now as we get up to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Let's see if it can do it. So this is really cool. Another one that we did look at yesterday would be this one, the Doge Beans. And it has been pretty disappointing in its launch. It only managed to get 32 BNB into the contract and only 58 users in it, right? So as you can see here, I have 0.8 BNB. I can either recollect or harvest that. I'm not decided what to do yet. It's not much money. The interesting thing I looked at though is how they launched this. They claimed that this was going to be a fair launch miner, and it was. The only thing it does lack is marketing. You can see here, they funded the contract in the fair way by saying this is funding. This is so that nobody gets an unfair advantage. This means that the dev team will be responsible for the fund through this string of wallets here. Looks like the same wallet funding, 2 different wallets funding. Yeah, 3 different wallets funding the contract. And with equal amounts of 0.1 BNB, then finally the contract opens and we see here that there were no bots. This was a botless launch, which is lovely to see, but unfortunately, no marketing. So this could be a good way. What they did here, right? So you can see their docs section. So this might be something that people might want to replicate in the future, especially for something like Grinch, that if it did have the anti-bot set into it, it would have been a much better launch for the longevity of the miner, I think. But I might be proven wrong. I may be proven wrong on this. Time will tell. Has it here, their innovation. The investor with bot it's in Chinglish, so I'm not really sure. I think this is a Chinese miner. They need to pass a verification code based on the reCAPTCHA from Google. So bots won't be able to call the contracts directly in this way because it has a verification code from a reCAPTCHA from Google built into the back here, which must be this one here. This little thing down there on the bottom right. Maybe, because nothing happened when I tried to purchase in here, but for some reason it worked. If anyone knows the details of this one, again, please write the comments and let me know about that. But it's very interesting. If I think this one could be repurposed again and given much better promotion and could be very successful, because a botless mining launch would be amazing. Just this once, fucking bots. So as I said, my miner, which I've chosen from those 3, is definitely the BUSD Crops Farmer. I think this one is going to be a printer in the future, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how it performs. Got my eye on Grinch. I did invest, but I don't think I'll be putting in too much because it's exploded too high, too fast, and I'm not sure how it's going to go because I did miss the extreme launch. Clearly it's been botted, so I'm not sure. Let's see how it goes. It's an experiment, definitely. Let's see how the future of it goes. And sadly, the Doge Beans, I'll continue compounding. Maybe it might be a grower, not a shower. Maybe more people will get into this because they can see the evidence of it being a fair launch, possibly. So, what am I going to tell you? Well, If you want to get into any miner, right, they're all forked from this baked beans. I don't think this one is, though, the BSD Crops Farmer. I think it's from the back end of like George from Token Miner and things, so they already have their own code. So I'm sure they've just tweaked it into growing and using the 8% instead of other things. But definitely for baked beans, something that you need to know, okay? You stay till the end, so I'll tell you the top secret thing about miners. You don't need to join a baked bean fork. You can shill the link before the launch and miss the launch, and then when you go to check, all you have to do is connect your wallet to it, get your referral link, shill it around, and then when you come back to it after launch, if people have used your link, you're going to be met with your rewards sitting ready to be taken without even investing into the miner. So that's something to be very aware of. Did I just let the cat out the bag? Possibly I did, but I learned this because I learned it when I did it a couple other miners where I did miss the launch, and where I come to invest in, I'm like, oh, 3 BNB, nice. I'm like, well, I don't need to invest in the miner anymore. DJing crypto. Always a way to find a loophole in these contracts. So again, if someone wants to make a perfect miner, what would they do? They would put you must invest first before you can receive your referral rewards, which seems like fucking obvious, to be honest, but for some reason they didn't put this in this contract either. And all these baked bean forks are coming out and they have the same crucial flaws in the contract, which means, of course, this one did very well. It does not mean that any of the other ones are going to do very well, because we can't predict the future. It's already 160 days old. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something. If you really disagree with anything that I said, then please write in the comments. I'm not judging any of these miners on doing anything wrong. This is Cowboy Town Crypto DeFi. There's no wrong or right. The only way is making money for yourself. And crypto, as Stunner Breezy has said before, is a solo sport a lot of times. So you need to be aware of that too. And nobody is going to look after you in crypto. You can only look after yourself. Knowledge is power. And that's what I tried to give you today. Peace. Last thing, probably for the next rest of the week, I'm just going to be all about Animal Farm because we're launching soon. I'm really excited about that. Peace. Doggy REKT.
Got that cryptocurrency.
Tell me how